Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've done a vlog or an update, but I just wanted to keep you guys up since I'm 16 weeks post bicep and I'm getting back into action and getting back into some good training. Bicep recovery has been tough. It hasn't been, I would say, an easy ride. Of course, getting out of the splint and then starting to get some flexion in it, get the arm straight was a little bit of an ordeal. My elbow is more stiff than the actual and aches more than the actual bicep, but it's getting there. But every week I'm getting cleared to do more and more things. Front squats is probably the first thing I've really started pushing, just because I could just do a genie setup on the front squats, just go crossed arms and able to go pretty heavy. So I worked up actually to a heavy PR-ish, heavy PR with 475 by 3. I think that's my best triple ever. And then eventually we'll try to go for a heavier double and then a heavier single, but which is only around 500 and 515. So I think that's pretty obtainable in this, let's say now off season. So I'm hitting all the off season goals that I was hoping to hit after Worlds, but now we're in it. Deadlifts, I just slowly got cleared to do that probably the last 4 weeks or so. I recently hit 495 for 6, which was a top set, but good to be back close to 500 pounds. Presses is slowly coming together. I'm starting with more strict presses, not getting too dynamic with any like split jerks or any push presses, but I do practice the movements on a very light bar. But on strict presses, I think today I'm hoping to press around 245 for reps off the blocks. Getting cleared to do upper back. Also been working a lot on my legs, so of course a lot of hypertrophy, so a lot of hamstring and glutes. The posterior chain has always been kind of like a small weakness of mine, so something that I wanted to start working on. So I've been actually working with a bodybuilding coach by the name of Jose Raymond, who's the former Boston Mass and former Mr. Olympia winner at 212 pounds. So he's a wealth of knowledge, great at hypertrophy. He's probably one of the only guys that can really push me and make myself feel not sick, but almost feel pukey during the workout. So really getting that heart rate up and really killing those supersets. So far, so good there. Also, one of my goals from the off season was to gain weight. Even at Europe's and World's Strongest Man, it had been almost roughly like 18 months post my last weight cut, but I'm still at a point where I felt that I still needed to be gain a little more weight. I always had like a 135 kilo mark, or like 297, 295 ish. That would be a good base in terms of like if I could be a lean or solid 295. I think that's a real good place to be. So recently I broke the 300 pound threshold, which was pretty exciting. Never saw 300 pounds on there before, and my goal is to potentially gain a little more weight, so probably come in the winter I can start cutting back and becoming that leaner 295 individual, which I kind of see myself as potentially kind of as like maybe Kevin Ferris, similar build to him, maybe Novikov on the lighter end. I think he's been as heavy as 310 pounds or 308 or 140 kilos, but usually that's my goal in terms of like body composition and body weight wise. So how did I get to that 300 pound mark? So I was eating my feelings a lot, mostly during the recovery, especially through the first 8 weeks. And then as I slowly started to get back into training, I cleaned it up. But at one point, there was a big phase of pizza rolls, especially late night and gaming. And now, since I've been cleaning up, I've been much more vertical. So a lot of steak and rice, steak and potatoes, steak and pasta when I can fit it in. And then potentially sometimes some pizza. Of course, I've been just being in the Italian situation I am. I do get a lot of access to cold cuts, a lot of prosciutto and salami and mortadella, all of it. So has been just a combination of all that has helped me kind of get up to 300 pounds. So far now it's been potentially about 50 pounds of gain since I've made the jump. But I don't think I'm getting much heavier than this. Maybe I'll get to a 310 at some point, with the thought of cutting back down to 295. So given the time of the year, so originally the bicep tear happened at Europe's. I went with it through World's Strongest Man, got it fixed 2 weeks after, which puts us in a little bit of late May. And usually, like the rule of thumb, given the given a bicep injury, kind of within 6 months is a little risky in terms of pushing it too early. But the 6-month mark and past that is usually a good range in terms of getting back in competition. So looking at that, and which is potentially 6 months from late May, does bring us into late November or early December, when pretty much the season is pretty much over. So I'm pretty much I'm probably done competing for the rest of the year. I'll just keep focusing on getting bigger, getting stronger, especially hopefully November and December. I'm going to really start pushing the actual weights, especially on deadlifts. Hopefully I'm pressing, maybe get back into some new PRs. But for the most part, just focus on the hypertrophy side of things, getting back into some conditioning. I did some jump ropes and rowing machines for the first time in a while, so I'm excited to implement that. Pretty much all the podcast information I've used over the last 12 podcasts I've had so many great guests, but I've learned so much. So I'm going to start implementing a lot of those knowledge points into my own training, into my own routine. If you haven't checked out those podcasts, there's some really good ones. The last one with Lucas Haddon was awesome, and there's a reason why he's on the streak. But all great guys as of late. So I've been very fortunate just to have a great group of guys. But looking at next year, I'm hoping to get back to Italy in February to potentially do a record breaker, so like a max log, maybe a max deadlift. I think that would be a great way to not only travel overseas, not only get over to Italy, but just to break the ice, especially with international travel. I am trying to compete more in Europe, so with that kind of record breaker, kind of less pressure, but still a good way to test some strength. So I'm hoping to do that in February. Hoping to get back into Europe's Strongest Man. That was so much fun last year. The crowd in Leeds was remarkable. Very passionate fans, and it was a great show. Unfortunately, I did end up tearing my bicep there, but with maybe staying healthier, I could have had a better performance even upon 6th. Even with torn bicep, I still beat guys like Gav Bilton, Pablo Cordiaca, Ronald Hanla. So I'm definitely in the mix if I can stay healthy. But hoping to get back into Europe's and potentially earn my way back into World's Strongest Man. So that's kind of my foreseeable potential contest, or at least what I have my eyes set on right now. Every day I'm in the gym. Every day I'm in the gym barn getting strong. I'm focusing on getting back into that Europe's Strongest Man to punch my ticket back into World's Strongest Man. So I do have some special announcements. I am going to be announcing even more, but I have hopped into the world of coaching, especially online coaching. So right now I'm running press-only coaching. So it's either 1 or 2 days a week in terms of programming and video review, technique review, and strategy. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in terms of working on any parts of your overhead or just working your overall ability or just want to learn from the best, you guys can either DM me on Instagram or I'm going to have an email below. But I'm going to have a separate video eventually that's going to be laying out what to expect in terms of my press coaching, as well as some other kind of content related to press focused coaching. So again, I'm going to have the information below if you want to get on it early, but there'll be more information to come. I also have a couple seminars in play. So in November, I'm going to be heading over to Kentucky. So all these Kentucky and Tennessee strongman. So I'm going to be going to Bowling Green to do a seminar at BG Strength. So Tyler Young and Justin Loy's spot. So I think right now it's going to look at the 9th, but more details to follow from there. And then I also working with Tommy Lavelle and Odd Objects to come out with very own Camby shirts. So we're premiering with 2 shirts. We have the Camby shirt and also the Italian Stallion shirt. And we're splitting it right now 50-50. And the 50% of the proceeds go to myself and Tommy really wants to support my journey as I continue moving up into the heavyweight class so I can break in to be at every big contest. So I really appreciate Tommy getting behind me, but I need some merch, and who's better than merch than Tommy Lavelle and Odd Objects. But that's today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good to catch up with all you guys. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. If you guys have been listening to the various podcasts, who do you think I should have on next? Leave it in the comments. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. I am ramping up on the members only in terms of my channel. So if you're interested in some exclusive content, please subscribe, support the channel, support the Camby Strongman movement. And until next time, everybody, stay strong.